Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Tips. About I think a few weeks ago, I had a chance to speak to a gentleman, and he blew my mind on what he got going on with AI. He even wrote a book on it. So I'm excited to have him on the call today. Um, Rajeev, what's going on, man?
Hey man, good to talk to you again. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you again for jumping on. Really appreciate you. So before we go down to all the things AI, let's talk about Rajeev. Who is Rajeev?
That's a loaded question, my friend. We can be here for a long time. Look, I mean, I'm a three-time CEO. I'm a father, husband. My best friend is my dog. I'm a
Nice.
screenplay writer. I mean, those are all the kind of fun things. But look, I mean, at the core, I like to think of myself as a leader, and I'm always trying to find ways to improve myself. And back about 12 years ago, I got certified in AI from MIT, and I've been in the AI space for a long time, and hence now we're here in the age of AI.
Yeah, I love it. So let's go back, right? Your dog is your best friend. What kind of dog you have? Because I have a dog.
So I have a chocolate Labradoodle, and his name is Chewy. He's named after Chewbacca,
Oh,
and
I love
so
it.
he looks like a little mini Chewy, a little mini Chewbacca.
It's funny you said that. My dog is a mini poodle. His name is Lucky, and he is an amazing little dog.
Oh man,
So,
I love this guy. Yeah, he's awesome.
let's dive into business, right? So you've had several businesses, you've been an entrepreneur. Let's talk about that. How do you even get into entrepreneurship?
I mean, necessity is the mother of all invention, and in many
Mm,
cases, there's unbelievable necessity, and
yeah.
it's all about kind of having a vision for something and believing in it, and just then surround yourself with good people and find ways to execute and pivot when you need to pivot. And that's kind of where we are. I mean, I used to be an executive at Dell Computer for a long time and
Yeah.
lived all over the world, and I've seen businesses and people and leadership styles, and so it was just kind of a natural fit for me.
I love it. Now, MIT AI 12 years ago, no one was talking or even thinking about AI 12 years. What triggered you to say, okay, this is something I want to get into?
Well, I got recruited by a venture capital firm to go run a company that they had invested in, and the
Gotcha.
company was based out of Switzerland.
Okay.
And so I actually moved to Switzerland. I was going back and forth between Switzerland and LA quite a bit. And that company was making audio, so sound and audio algorithms
Hmm.
using machine learning AI. So they've been doing stuff in AI already. And
Wow.
and people don't realize, I mean, we're surrounded by AI all day long anyways, right? If you go to Netflix and you watch a show on Netflix, it says,
Yeah.
oh, hey, you watch this show, now we recommend this show. That's AI, right?
Huh.
Amazon, you got this product, we recommend this product. That's AI, right? That's machine learning AI. That's different than
Yes.
ChatGPT, right? But the point of it is that we've been surrounded by AI a long time. So, anyways, to make a long story short, I was really enamored with the technology of what we were doing. I didn't understand the tech. Like, I mean, I understood
Yeah.
what we did, but I couldn't like code it or tell you how the sausage was made, so to speak.
Yeah.
So after that business sold, I went back and I went to MIT, and I wanted to learn more about AI, and so I got a dual certification in AI for business and AI for healthcare, and here we are today.
I love it. You chose AI for business and AI for healthcare. Tell us more about that, right? Because healthcare is also shifting right now. So, how have you seen from businesses you work with, from being in the space, how AI has helped in the healthcare space?
Look, it's still kind of early on for the
Yeah,
healthcare side of things, right? But with the advent of what's happening with NVIDIA, with their processing, what's happening with ChatGPT and
mhm.
Gemini, Google, all these new technologies, we are going to be living in the future, and it's probably a lot sooner than we think, that we could be living in a world of no disease. We could be living in a world where people are living a lot longer. The average age could jump to maybe 120 years old even in the next 15,
Wow.
20 years. So this idea of being able to cure dementia, Alzheimer's, diabetes, all these
Yeah,
kinds of things, heart disease, whatever they might be, right? That's all the type of future we will eventually live in. Now, whether you and I will live in it
yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
different, but eventually it'll get there because technology advances so much. Now, I will tell you this: people who are blind at some point in the future will be able to see. People who are deaf will be able to hear. People
Wow.
who might paraplegic or quadriplegic will at some point in the future be able to walk again. Now, that's a little bit of science fiction, like
Yeah.
robotics
Yeah.
continue with
Yeah.
AI with the human experience, but all that's coming. And if you like, you're a big fan of the Avengers movies with Iron Man and Tony Stark
Of
and all
course.
that, we will all eventually have our own Jarvis assistant in our
Mm,
home. So we will all have access to that technology because processing power is moving so fast, and
mm,
and our smartphones and our laptops are getting so much smarter. And so just it's going to create this beautiful ecosystem for AI now. So that's the good news. The bad news is that everybody's going to have access to AI, and so even the bad guys. And so we have to watch out for things like deep fake technologies and things like that.
huh. I have so many questions, but I'm gonna tackle a couple different ones, especially in the business space, right? You have two sides. You have business owners who's like, yes, for example, they love ChatGPT and all the new AI tool. They're getting rid of some of their team members and they really start using those tools. And then you have on the employee side who's like, well, I'm gonna lose my job if I don't know how to use this thing. Or some people who doesn't even want to learn it and just scare of it. Like, what are your thoughts on what's going on right now in the space?
Look, I think the whole job fear thing is a little overblown. I think
Mm,
what you're seeing in Silicon Valley, I think they're using all these tech companies are laying people off. I think they're using AI as a scapegoat, but for poor management.
yeah.
So I think what happened during COVID, these guys got a bunch of free money and they hired a whole bunch of people, and now they
Mm,
realize they don't need all those people. So rather than blame their poor management, they're blaming AI, and so that's my first comment on that. I would say that I think what's going to happen in the future is you may not need as many people in a
yeah.
particular role. So, for example, if your company's growing, let's say it's growing 20% year on year or 10% year on year, and you normally add two or three bodies, well, you might only need to
Mhm.
add one. Let the AI handle the
Gotcha.
rest, right? So AI is not a silver bullet. It's
Mm,
not infallible. It makes mistakes. It's not sentient yet. So it's all about being able to really find ways to embrace the technology and how to make yourself more efficient and more productive. Look, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, all those things they came out, it made
yeah.
everybody more efficient and more productive. And that's what these things are going to do. They're going to make you more efficient and more productive.
I love it. I love it. I'm curious, because you're running a business as well. How are you using AI in your business?
Look, we use it in our marketing departments. We use it for our sales team. We use it to help brainstorm new ideas. So those are kind of some of the things we do. Like we're a digital agency, right? So
Yeah.
for us, it's all about looking at, we don't we still write our own content, but
Okay.
we have ChatGPT kind of check the grammar for it, all those other little things like that, right? We will not go down the path of having AI write our articles or write our content because we
Mm-hmm.
think that takes away from the overall user experience if that's the case. Like why, so we don't do that at all. But those are some of the areas that we look at. We're starting to look at it from a finance perspective. We're starting to look at it from an HR perspective. We're
Tell
starting
me
to
more.
so we're going to create chatbots in the business.
Okay.
So for HR, we have an employee manual that no one's ever read. So instead, we'll create a chatbot that's trained on the employee manual that'll answer questions in the employee manual. You go to our internal ChatGPT like solution and
Yeah.
chatbot, and you just say, hey, tell me about our PTO policy. What's the whatever it might be, right? So
Huh.
tell me about our medical plans or whatever, right? So so it'll answer those questions. So take that pressure off of HR.
Now, let me ask you this. How would HR feel about that? Does it feel like it's taken away from their role, or would they still be able to do what they're supposed to do by
Well, no,
having?
if anything, HR people are not doing what they're paid to do today, right?
Mm,
HR people are really should be there to develop and grow people and build culture in an organization. When they
yeah,
get stuck having to chase down PTO policies or medical benefits or little things like that the chatbot can handle,
yeah.
that takes that off their plate. They can buy them an hour a day of their time. They can focus on what they really are paid to do. So I think
I love it.
for what I've heard, they love it.
I want to go deeper, right? In terms of your digital agency, you work with a lot of different type of businesses. Tell them, are you using AI for some of them? Are you bringing different ideas on how they can use AI? What have you seen in that creative space that has worked?
But
Besides,
I'll tell you the number one use case that I've seen so far, and I've talked to whew, close to maybe 2,500 CEOs in the last, or 2,500 CEOs and their team members in the last 9, 10 months. And
Wow.
through whether they're through keynote speaking or whatever it might be, I can tell you the number one biggest advantage that they're currently seeing using AI in the workplace is, man, it's a great brainstorming partner. It's a
Okay.
great tool. The only thing that limits your imagination using ChatGPT, it's going to be your own personal imagination.
Yeah,
If you learn how to be a storyteller, if you know how to write that prompt, it could be an amazing, amazing, amazing solution for
I love it. I'm curious, when like business owners, you mentioned something about writing prompt. Not everybody knows how to write prompt or even can think about writing prompt, right? So what have you seen like some of those, I guess, cheat code or, like simple prompt that you've used that has worked well to kind of get the brain going?
you. Yeah, I think the number one most important thing to remember that this is not a search engine. So don't treat
Mm,
it like Google.
yeah,
So that's number one. Number two is I don't want you to. The more comfortable you are at understanding and going beyond the fact that that's an algorithm you're talking to, if you pretend there's a human on the end of that other end of that screen, that's
yeah,
going to make your mental mindset a lot better in terms of how you
got
interact with the tool. And the third thing is if you want to be successful in writing a prompt, the best thing to do is the RTA method, which is role, task, ask. So you want to give ChatGPT a role, you
okay.
want to give it a task to do, and then what is your ask from that task, right?
Okay, give
So
us an example.
RTA, role, task, ask. So for example, if I wanted to create my own podcast, I would say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to act, the role is I want you to act like a successful podcast entrepreneur,
Gotcha.
like who was put on podcasts for people like Joe Rogan or Andrew Huberman or people like
Mhm.
that, right? So that's your role. The task is I want you to give me a step by step. I want you to help create a business plan for me on launching this new podcast. And then the ask is give me the step by step instructions on how to launch the podcast. I mean, things that like
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you want to give it like a decent amount of meat in the first prompt, and then you hit enter, and it's going to give you a response, and within seconds, and then you can keep going. You say, "Oh, that's great. Give me more information on this. Or give me more information on that." Or I don't like
Right.
this. I really want to launch this podcast from Hawaii. Is there
Mhm.
anything different about Hawaii versus Los Angeles or whatever, right? So then you just go and have a conversation with the tool.
I love it. Now, your book, AI Made Simple. Tell us a bit more about that.
Look, it's been the first edition was the number one best-selling AI book on Amazon for seven,
Oh,
8 months, and then I
wow.
wrote the second edition, and so the second edition is now available as well. It's called AI Made Simple: A Beginner's Guide to Generative Intelligence. It's on
Nice.
Amazon, some other places, and it's great. It's designed for beginners. I kind of wrote this book so my 80-year-old mom could understand how to deal with AI, right? Because look, every single person on the planet at some point at some point has to get trained on AI. And
Mm-hmm.
what's better than a book that's called AI Made Simple? And let's make it
Mm,
available to everybody, and you know, and just kind of keep it at that real simple, that keep it simple method, right? And I
yeah,
couldn't call it AI for dummies for obvious reasons, but it's but AI Made Simple works, and people that's got pretty good ratings on it right now, and it seems to be working, and people like it, and some really good reviews. So go check it out.
nice, nice. Guys, check out AI Made Simple. As you heard, Rajiv is the AI expert. Now, to kind of wrap things up, right? One thing that we like to do on the show is sharing small biz tips that can help our audience of entrepreneurs and business owners. What is that one or even two small biz tips throughout your career as an entrepreneur and you seeing what's going on in the AI space right now? What would that small biz tip be for that business owner?
Yeah, look, from an AI perspective, be really curious with a tool. Don't be
Okay.
judgmental, right? Just start to use it. Use it for your personal use, your family use, your business use, whatever the case might be. If you're worried about sensitive data, then anonymize the data or go onto the ChatGPT website and fill out the form or get the team version or an enterprise version, which is super expensive. So there are ways to kind of get around the whole using your data set, right?
Gotcha.
So that's the first thing. Just be curious with the tool. Start using. I would argue from a business perspective, always remember that when you're an entrepreneur running a business, you have to be willing to pivot. So that's
Mm,
number one. Second thing is that make sure you just hire really good people. You're only going to be as successful as your people allow you to be successful. If you have really bad people working for you, you're not going to be successful. So
mm.
you're not there to be their friend. You're there to be their boss and to be the leader and to help the company grow and to provide more opportunities. So so really focus on building a great culture,
Yeah,
but you don't have to become their best friend in the process because you might have to make some decisions that that might affect them. So really focus on building that culture. Really focus on surrounding yourself with good people and be willing to pivot.
I love it. Now, if somebody want to get in touch with you or they want to work with your agency or they want you to come and speak about AI, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, obviously. So there's a lot of Rajeev Kapoors on LinkedIn, but just find me, Rajeev Kapur. You'll find if you put in AI or 1105 Media, 1105 Media. That's the name of the company. You'll find me. If you want to email me, you can send me an email to request Rajeev. That's request RAJEE, V like Victor, at gmail.com. And I'm more than happy to connect with you and either do a podcast or do a keynote for you.
Fantastic. Guys, check out Rajiv. As you can see, he is the AI expert, and I am so excited you came on today. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Good to see you.
Likewise.